Lady Gaga with Just Dance, my guests of the day are a power-packed quartet, fresh off the back of a combined success for them, the film Bulbbul. Say hello to actor-producer Anushka Sharma, her brother and co-producer Karnesh Sharma, director Anvita Dutt, and Netflix's head of international originals films, Srishti, Behl, Arya.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
You fine ladies and you fine gentlemen. How are you? And most importantly, are your families safe and healthy?
Yes. My one family member is jokes,
accounted for.
bad jokes. We're starting off with bad jokes.
Over healthy.
Okay, now this is Amit Trivedi and me, Anushka, react to this, yeah?
Do you know when you're in studio with a lyric writer, in a studio creating songs, that some of them have it in them to be a director? For example, if you're with Amitabh or with Anvita and you're just creating songs, which actually have nothing to do with the larger picture, but sometimes you have a gut feeling, right? You know, I meet radio jockeys sometimes, I hang with them and I say, boss, this guy's got a good marketing mind or this guy's got a good production mind. And then I also advise them accordingly. Do you feel that way about some people? And did you feel that way about Anvita Dutt?
Honestly speaking, no. With Anvita, I never felt that because we started, our first collaboration was in Queen, for the film Queen, first time I had met her. And we had a blast doing that film. I can't tell you how amazing that process and that experience was. Most beautiful. And she was a proper lyric writer in my head that time. Never thought, but at the same time, she used to write screenplays. Between dialogues she had written, screenplays she had written, and then she did Shandar as well. And so I kind of knew that she is not just a lyric writer. There's more to her. But I did not expect her to direct a film and direct such a beautiful film.
So basically, one of her closest friends says, I couldn't believe that she can be a director. Now, I'm not going to ask Karnesh this question. Because he had a script with him many years in advance. Did you, Anushka, when you first found out that Anvita wants to direct, what is the instinctive thought in your mind?
Okay, I'll be honest. I was surprised that she wants to direct because I'd never had this conversation with Anvita. Although her and me have worked together. The first thing we did together was Patiala House. So we go back like 2010. But these conversations never happened. So when Karnesh told me that, this is Anvita, he gave the script to me and he said, "Padh le, teko kaisi lagi, bata." Not me. I was like, "Ye to badhiya," and we started chatting about the script. And I said, I thought also this was one of the best scripts Anvita had written. And then Karnesh said that Anvita wants to direct this film. So I just had to think of, oh, really? Anvita wants to? Okay. So I was a bit surprised that Anvita is getting it only because we've not had this conversation. Normally, when you know somebody in a work environment, you do. But then I realized I'm such a recluse. मैं वैसे लोगों को बात नहीं करती हूँ. मैं शूट पे जाती हूँ, घर वापस जाके मैं सो जाती हूँ. What I know about people, what their aspirations are or whatever. So yeah, थोड़ा सा मैं surprise हुई थी.
Srishti, I like that Monica Shergill and you are in charge at Netflix with your collective experience of film, television, OTT, plus that you're feisty Punjabi girls. What do you think is working for you guys? The team that you have at Netflix. I mean, not just the two of you, but the whole collective creative minds that you have.
I think it's all our collaborators, all our creators and the fact and the stories that they bring to us and the expertise that they bring to us. And I think what's really great is that the way that internally we collaborate, we talk about everything that we're doing. We try to look at the whole content offering from a subscription view and about how we can, bring diverse kind of content for all our subscribers and how do we make sure that anything that they feel like watching at any time is available to them on Netflix. So that freedom is amazing. And so are all the creators we're working with.
And some super collaborations there for our entertainment. More up ahead with Srishti, Behl, Arya, Anvita Dutt, Karnesh Sharma and Anushka Sharma. I'm Hrishi K and here are Palermo, Faith and Sigala with a cracker of a hit called Lullaby right here on 94.3 Radio 1. One World, your station. The lovely Dua Lipa with Love Again. Director Anvita Dutt's debut, Bulbbul, has proved to be a massive success for all involved. She's chatting with me this morning. So are our producers from Clean Slate Films, the siblings Anushka Sharma and Karnesh Sharma, who have given us NH10, Filori, Pari, and more recently Patal Lok, the series. More conversation.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
Karnesh, I know Anshay directed Filori and there's obviously a trust factor with him, but why did you decide to bring him back on as a creative producer for this particular film?
Well, Anshay and Anvita, Anvita wrote Filori, right? So, and they have a very good thing. Also, we felt that, a lot of this film has VFX. There's elaborate VFX sequences in this. And Anshay has a good hold over VFX. So we thought, because they're so close, because he was also involved with the story, it was just natural for us to provide provide Anvita with all the best resources we could, and Anshe was one of those resources. Very, underspoken about person on the film, but a great collaborator and a great contributor to what you finally see. So I think that was the idea behind Anshe on this.
Anvita, I finished my interview with you and I kicked myself saying, my God, I didn't ask her about the publicity design at all. So it's wonderfully karmic that you're back. I just love the publicity design. I mean, the whole red of it, I can even see it on screen right now. The blood red moon in the background, the chudel. Did you get involved with that at all, or was it just a platform and producer's call? Just tell me about this particular design, this publicity still or promotion.
So, of course, the publicity promotion was extremely collaborative. But because you've seen the film, you'll know this is actually a frame from the film. So we wanted to use what are the hero shots, or so to speak, the dramatic shots that we enjoy. And in fact, when we were shooting it as well, when we were talking about it, when it was just a little thumbnail in my script, when I was talking to Siddharth Devan, and when we shot it, at that point in time, it was on green screen. But Harry from Red Chillies, Anshe, Karnesh, we were all so excited about that visual. I remember when we were shooting it in the forest, Siddharth had said, "Arey, ye to tera promo shot hai." So it was just one of those things that we loved this shot so much. This giant moon, this fairy tale like moon, this little girl, this little chudel jumping off it happily. So so it's an image from the film, but yes, everything else, like Netflix designed the publicity, but it was so organic and collaborative that I think everything that has come out on the film is exactly how I would have wanted it as a creator, and Clean Slate would have wanted it as producers.
Yeah, I think
Sorry, continue.
I think, how we've also worked through our films, we've been totally involved with the marketing and promotions of the film. And I think it is very important, because when you make a film, you exactly know what are the points you can use to, market it, and what are the stronger points you can use to promote it. So I think we were really happy that Netflix and Srishti and her team, Neha and everybody else, they really wanted to collaborate with us, rather than, this is a product and, that's how we're going to do it. So I think we had a month-long conversation offline before the campaign was set, with all of the people involved. And so you see what it is out there.
Really nice.
One shiny, happy team makes a shiny, happy success story. We'll continue discovering more with Karnesh and Anushka Sharma, along with Srishti, Behl, Arya and Anvita Dutt. Hang by as I play you some Lennon, Stella and Charlie Puth. This one's called Summer Feelings, only on 94.3 Radio 1 One World, your station. My name is Hrishi K. Shakira with Hips Don't Lie. My guests of the day are accomplished professionals in their chosen spheres. There's lyric writer turned director Anvita Dutt. There's accomplished film and TV producer who's gone on to head international original films at Netflix, Srishti, Behl, Arya. And then there's the former Merchant Navy man turned producer Karnesh Sharma and his sister, the very beautiful and intelligent actress producer Anushka Sharma. We're celebrating the success of their film Bulbbul by exploring versions, themes, aspects of cinema.
94.3. This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
Anushka, I've stopped defining films long time ago because I'm hopeless with it. I don't know what to call Bulbbul. Is it a supernatural story or a fairy tale, or is it, some people say it's a horror type film. I just say go watch it because I can't describe it.
Feminist horror. That is a new subgenre. It will be on IMDb.
But given that after Filori and Pari, there was this perception saying Anushka and Clean Slate, which has now been destroyed thanks to Patal Lok and NH10 a little much before that, the first one. What to you is a horror film? What to you is horror, Anushka?
Okay, can I tell you something? It's very strange that, Karnesh and me have been the people who have sort of made films like Filori, Pari and Bulbbul, because him and me used to actually watch horror films like this, like that, like beach se. Matlab, we would watch it, we want to watch it, but that's how we used to watch it. And there are a lot of things that are actually associated with horror. I mean, it's a little sad story, but it's bizarre that it's attached to us. But we were watching something, I think it was called Wo. Remember there was a TV show called Wo?
I remember Horror Show walking it through a hole in the chaddar.
Yeah. And at that time, our pet actually was really sick at the time that we were watching that show, and kind of passed away just while we were seeing that. So there are a lot of memories that are attached to horror, but we weren't particularly the kind of kids who were like, oh, aaj horror picture dekhenge, and we weren't doing that. But I think somewhere Karnesh and me have understood that horror is not just this jump scare horror or a gory horror. I think horror is just anything anything that frightens you or anything that, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in the, in the background music. It's just it's horrific. That's exactly, I think, what Bulbbul also is. It's not a horror genre, but it's what's happening is so horrific. Or what happened even in Pari was just that. I mean, for us, the story was actually a human story, as Bulbbul is, as Filori is. It's a story about humans. It's a story about, their hardships, them coming out of it. It has a human angle to it, but the atmosphere is horror. And I think that's what we have managed to do very unconsciously. We've sort of created this sub-genre, which is this feminist, supernatural, feminist horror. And I think that's just because horror allows you this sort of escapism and this leap of faith. And it's just a different sort of storytelling that you have, to just to give out a very real message, to give out a very potent message. And I think we've explored that and we've enjoyed exploring that. And also, it is the only, if I may add to what Anushka is saying, it is the only medium which will allow the interaction between the human and the supernatural without too many questions. Absolutely. Yeah, it allows you that escapism, it allows you that leap of faith, and you can question things, You can question things because, this is not a real person. It gives you that freedom.
So well said. The extremely aware and smart Anushka Sharma there. She, along with Karnesh Sharma, Srishti, Behl, Arya and Anvita Dutt, shall be back. You don't go anywhere. It's time for me to play you some U2 and Vertigo. I'm Hrishi K and you're tuned into 94.3 Radio on One World, your station. Keisha with TikTok. I'm in the company of four exceptionally talented individuals. They are film folk, Anvita Dutt, who's finally made her filmmaking debut after lyric writing some of India's most loved songs and story and screenplay writing some of India's most loved films. Actor-producer Anushka Sharma and her brother and co-producer Karnesh Sharma. They continue to make cutting-edge films and original series and now debut on Netflix with their Bulbbul. Also hanging with me is Srishti, Behl, Arya from the streaming service who saw potential in their film and green-lighted it. Enjoy some more chat.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
Srishti, Vikram Mehra from Yudle Films, another one of your collaborators, said that before he reads a script, he actually tears off the first page because he doesn't want to know the writer and then be biased. I thought that was pretty interesting. So I'm going to ask you something about film selection now. For you, when you choose a film, how much does pedigree matter for like a Dharma, for example? Is it more difficult for you to trust a new first-time producer as opposed to the established ones?
There's definitely comfort in working with people that you have worked before or who've done X amount of work. But the fact is that when you're trying to tell new stories, you need new point of views. So like when we did a film like Maska, we introduced new producers, Seher and Shivani, in that. And it was their first film as producer. And right now we've got Serious Men coming down the line with new producers as well. We have Kali Kuhi coming down the line with new producers as well. So it all depends on the power of the story and the conviction of the creators. When you see that somebody knows what they're talking about, that when you eventually get the confidence, yes, you can lean on safe forever. But then when you do something as differentiated and, path-breaking like, say, a Bulbbul, it's Anvita's vision. It's her, it's just the joy of making her first film and her fearlessness because she hasn't been burnt by anything. So with that, there comes a certain naive quality about it. But that's what brings in the charm. It's like you see that even in the actors. Like when you look at, Tripti, she has this, no matter what she's doing, she has this softness in her. She's working so much from her heart. So not to say like all great actors bring out performances, from different places. But the joy of working with somebody who's doing something for a newish amount of time, be it a producer or a director or a DOP who's lighting every shot like it's the shot of his life to light, that's a different charm. Then you need certain other kind of experience like on this film, like we were talking about Ansha earlier, right? We could have Anvita lean on him a bit because he's had experiences and she doesn't have to make basic mistakes. She can make her own mistakes. She can make new mistakes and we all learn from it. And, a lot of art comes out of not really knowing. So it's a yes and no. You do feel comfortable. It was great to know that Clean Slate had produced so much before that. So we knew that they would be there to cushion everything when the new director comes into place. And at the same time, I'm going to talk about Maska again and tell you when those producers, because that film is out in the service, pulled that set out without any thought of what could go wrong, but actually made something happen because they were doing it for the first time. That has a different joy in it as well.
It's a fantastic answer. So Anvita, what's the nicest thing someone said to you about Bulbbul thus far? I mean, I have so many wonderful things to say about it. I mean, I'll take it offline, but just
is, somebody whose opinion you really value, one or two of them that just really touched you?
Oh my God, there's so many. I think the nicest thing that somebody said to me on Bulbul is when Karnesh and Anushka said, yes, let's make this. Because everything else that has happened because of that.
We are making your next film also. It's okay. You can
Revelation. Karnesh, why does the film have two B's? Why does Bulbul have two B's? Is it numerology or just the way it rings?
It is good luck and good vibration, whatever you call it.
Can't argue with that. Karnesh Sharma, Anushka Sharma, Srishti, Behl, Arya and Anvita Dutt with me on the Bulbul Success Interview. Let's take a musical break with Neo and David Guetta. This one's called Play Hard. My name is Hrishi K and you're listening to me on 94.3 Radio on One World, your station. George Ezra with his soothing music and baritone in tow, a hit called Shotgun. The supernatural thriller Bulbul has set many a heart aflutter. It stars Rahul Bose, Porambrata Chattopadhyay, Paoli Dam, Tripti Dimri and Avinash Tiwari, and I'm talking to the people behind the film. Director Anvita Dutt, Netflix India head Srishti Behl Arya, and producers Clean Slate Films, namely Karnesh Sharma and his actress co-producer sister, the lovely Anushka Sharma, whom we all love.
94.3. This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
Anushka, who has better music sense and who has better script sense between Karnesh and you as producers? Music sense, script sense.
Honestly, I think
She does.
no. But no, I think no, I think honestly I have to tell you this, that so far in our every film, and I'm not just saying this because you asked me this question, Karnesh and me have never ever had any issues with the script. We have never said that, oh, this script nahi, ye mujhe nahi achhi lag rahi hai, or ye isko achhi lag rahi hai. That's never happened so far. Either we might have wanted some changes which might have differed, like a point of view on things on the script or whatever work that needs to be done on it. But I don't think that anything else has been an issue. But I think music sense, maybe Karnesh is better.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's a compliment. Take it. Always take compliment.
No, I'll tell you what happens with me when I hear something. I went for the music session. I mean, when the BGM was happening, because I'm his younger sister, and somewhere it plays on my head. Like, even though like we are doing things together, I've always seeked his approval, and that has always been the case because I've really looked up to him when we were growing up. And if I wasn't doing it, he made sure that I look up to him. Right? So whenever I want to say something, I say it and then I'm like, right? So I think that thing, I think that's what happens. But the thing is, ultimately, I've realized that we've never differed in our opinions on things. Even on Bulbul Ka, this music session that we had, whatever I felt like we could have made those changes. It's not really just Karnesh and me, right? Anvita is also involved, and there was Anshay also there. So, I mean, you're doing it collaboratively, but I think for me, this has never been an issue for Karnesh and me. We've always been on the same page with things. He is extremely good at people management, and I horrible.
Casting, money negotiations. Karnesh, who's better? Who's better at casting sense and money negotiation?
I've never been involved in money negotiations.
I don't have an option, so that's what I do, money negotiation. It worked out well, so yeah. But again, casting, I'll tell you, Hrishi, like, I'm very instinctive at times in my approach, and at times people find it bizarre, and so I really work on instinct more than a well-informed opinion around something. So that's how it has worked for me. There is no logic to what it is. It's just instincts, and I think it has worked so far. So yeah, a lot of filmmaking is also about instincts.
Fair enough. Srishti, your role, is it to first choose a film that makes sense to India and then think whether it will work internationally, or will this work in other territories too? Now with Narcos being the way it is, what do you think of first? Will Bulbul make sense cross-culturally? Will Bulbul make sense in India?
First thought is always, will Bulbul make sense to the subscriber, right? And like I was, I think, saying earlier to someone as well, that a human story well told is, something that is not restricted by any geography. So at Netflix, we really like to say this, and I really, really believe in it, that a great story can come from anywhere and travel everywhere.
Now, I know, Anvita, that there are no rules in filmmaking or writing. Anyone can do anything, but I'm just very curious.
curious. You're Punjabi, you're from a small town, you're very familiar with that milieu. Why would you write your first film set in early 19th century Bengal? Lovely as it is.
I'm a bit of a period piece myself. That's fine. But no, seriously, I've lived actually. I am from a small, actually a village in Punjab, but my father was in the Air Force, and so I've lived everywhere in the country. Though I haven't lived in Bengal. Bengal has always fascinated me. I think it's beautiful, and it's just there's almost a mythic quality to Bengal, and especially period Bengal. And when you're telling a fairy tale, it could have been set anywhere in a fictitious world for all that it matters. But somehow that period, that Bengal suited that story. And honestly, when I wrote the story, which was the 2-pager, while I was writing, and at that point in time, you're not really thinking and planning. You know that shot of Bulbul withdrawing her feet under her sari with a little bit of fear when Indraneel says, "Jute kyun nahi pehnti," was the first thing that I wrote down ever about Bulbul in a notebook. The first thing I wrote back was, and in that, when I wrote she has alta on her feet. There's dust and alta on her feet. And so alta, I guess it's automatically Bengal. So it just was kind of predetermined by that one thing that I wrote.
Beautiful, bringing such a lyrical quality to her filmmaking, Anvita Dutt. Last leg of this fascinating interview with her and Anushka Sharma, Karnesh Sharma, as well as Srishti, Behl, Arya. You can't afford to miss it. I'm Hrishi K, and here's Adam Levine from Maroon 5 in his solo capacity. Along with gym class heroes, this is Stereo Hearts right here on 94.3 Radio 1. One World, your station. Seal with my all-time favorite song, Crazy. This has been such a wonderful interview with so much depth and entertainment as the film these fine people have made. Anushka Sharma and Karnesh Sharma from Clean Slate Films, Anvita the director, and Srishti, Behl, Arya from Netflix. Their Bulbul has definitely set the bar very high. Please go watch it. Our last leg of chat with the quartet.
This is Good Morning Mumbai with Hrishi K.
Anushka, everybody's saying horror, but the fact is, Filori, Pari, Bulbul, they talk about the divine feminine form, which to me is so beautiful. I mean, you guys, big ups to you for continuously championing that. And you must be very conscious of it when you start planning these films, isn't it? Or is it just a byproduct of the story? There's no conscious aim to talk about the divine feminine form, or is there? That's my question.
Honestly, I think as far as women are concerned, we are multifaceted, and there's a lot of depth that women have, because there are a lot of transformations that women take that happen in a woman's life, much lesser in a man's life. There are different, just because of the fact that women, even in terms of like, I'm just giving an example generally, like on a more generic way, but even just motherhood in a lot of cases, and women who are still not as independent as the rest of the women, the fact that they leave their homes and they go into another person's house, like in the case of Bulbul. There are a lot of changes that take place in a woman's life, and these are big changes, so the experiences are so many that it just gives them a lot more depth and a lot more faces. And I think that is something which has been explored in the past since we've been making cinema, but I think we're doing that a lot more now because we're telling those stories a lot. And to us, that has always been important, and that's why our characters have had this, been multifaceted, whether whatever, with divine or anything else.
And if I may add to it, Rishi, conventional storytelling in Hindi film have always been centered around men. So we don't get...
And the opportunity has not been enough.
So I think the representation of women in stories have been very less. That's why you don't ask these questions to men. Why are these men projected like the way you do? Because that seems to be the norm, right? So what we are trying to say is, and I personally believe that when you tell a women-led story, it will always ride on content. It will not ride on how far she can cook, how well she can dance, how good her hair can flow and stuff like that. It will always have to be centered on how good.
No, sorry, Kannan, that also happens, but that happens usually in a male-centric film where that's all you're talking about, a woman's character.
Yes. But those are the tropes which are used to represent women by and large. So when you have a women-centric story, it will always be mostly a strong story, because that's what it needs for people to take notice. Otherwise it is same. So I
also want to add to this. I remember when I just started acting, maybe like 3-4 years into acting, I always felt like, and I have said this in a lot of my interviews right at the beginning of my career, when I was just left to whatever options were coming my way and just picking from the best of those options. I always said that we are not exploring women, their relationships with each other, their relationship with the society, their relationship with men enough, because there's a lot of depth that is in there. At that time, even though we were not thinking about producing films, that deeply, but I always knew that when we make movies, we will definitely do that. Only because it's unique, only because it's new, only because it's a point of view that you haven't often been able to explore enough, and it'll always read well because half the population is women, no? So there'll always be that relatability and connection, which just unfortunately just hasn't happened. Everyone's like, okay, and then we'll reach a point. That was my biggest, because I was sick of people asking me these questions as an actor. We'll reach a point when no one's asking me about female-led film. ये क्या female-led story है? ये female director है? ये female writer है? It will just be ये writer है, ये actor है, ये director है. That's about it. So if we can aid that, it is very, very deliberate.
Lovely. Last question to you, Karnesh. How beautiful is it that Bulbbul will release on a Friday? I don't know if Patal Lok released on a Friday or not. And on Monday, you don't have to worry about box office collections. That must be the most beautiful feeling in the world.
Yeah, so Patal Lok released on Friday, Bulbbul released on a Wednesday. So we had those 2 more days to think about. But honestly, I think the yardstick of a box office, or the pressure of a box office attaining a certain number is certainly not there. And whatever the other pressures are, Srishti never let us feel, there is any pressure for the film. So I think we were just happy that, we got to tell a story the way it was supposed to be told, and then finally presented the way it was supposed to be presented. So I think from that point of view, we had absolutely no pressure. It was just honestly unexpected with the kind of response we got. We're totally unexpected and really, really grateful to the people. But yeah, otherwise there's no such pressure.
Sharmas, Anvita, Srishti, thank you. This was so much fun. And thank you for a great film. What a lovely, lovely experience. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Stay safe and healthy.
Thank you, Hrishi.
Bye.
You too. Thank you. Nice talking to you.
Excellent vibe there that I share with those four. My guests of the day, Anushka Sharma, Karnesh Sharma, Srishti, Behl, Arya, and Anvita Dutt. Diving back into the music, it's Cher Lloyd with Astro. I Want You Back. My name is Hrishi K, and you're listening to 94.3 Radio 1. One World, your station.